It's time to take off. In 5, 4. You know how we like to do it. Welcome on into another episode of the Crypto Dough Show. And today, what are we talking about? We're talking about crypto is in a slump. Crypto is in a mini slump. Let me give you a couple of minutes to get in. Crypto is in a slump, and I want to explain to you why and how I don't think this is going to last too long. Crypto is in a slump. Why is that, Crypto Dough? So I've been doing my research, of course, and I'm here to share the data that I've collected. Now, crypto, in any market, in order to move any market, you need something called liquidity. Crypto Dough, what's liquidity? Liquidity is basically inflow of capital, right? And this capital can come from a few sources. It can come from residential sources, which is you and I, right? Or it can come from institutional sources, which is like the BlackRock, the Grayscales, the hedge funds and everything else, right? It can come from the private credit. Those are the different sectors that I think liquidity can come from. The people, the machines, and the loan places that allows these machines to flourish, right? The private credit union. Now, I've noticed that I check the inflow of liquidity. The inflow of liquidity is this. Liquidity hasn't been inflowing into the market, and if it has, not at the rate as it was doing in the beginning of 2025, right? The beginning of 2025, top of the year, 2024, end of the year, it was a lot of inflow. It was a lot of liquidity. Things were flowing. Saying it to say now, things aren't flowing as much, right? But what are we waiting for? So according to Brian Armstrong, go check out, I'm gonna post his last tweet up, and he say that liquidity, basically they're 90% done. They're basically debating and deciding or deliberating on the other 10% with Coinbase and USDC. He's saying by the end of this month, which is by Thanksgiving, right? We should have liquidity into the market, and it should be at least $1 trillion worth of liquidity. I'm just saying. This is what it is. Word on the street, word on the crypto street. This is what it is. Now, can it extend a little bit beyond the Thanksgiving mark, the end of the month mark? Sure. And the reason why I say that it can is because what's supposed to happen in December? Not only are we supposed to have a rate hike cut, right, which gives inflow of more money, we're also supposed to have the Clarity Act. This is when they decide and say, hey, this is a commodity, right? They're going to decide what's a commodity and what isn't. They're going to decide what's a commodity and what isn't. They need clarity. The way I see it is, once we have that clarity, which is supposed to be happening in December, once we have that clarity, the crypto world would actually have a blueprint, and for the first time in history, crypto will have something called an infrastructure. This hits the infrastructure bill, everything else. So people may ask, hey, Crypto Dough, are you still bullish with crypto? Hell yeah, I am still bullish with crypto. Maggie Forever said, hey, what's going on? Let me acknowledge the chat. Maggie Forever said, I liked and I sub. I appreciate the like. I appreciate the sub, Maggie Forever. I appreciate it. Thanks. I'm Crypto Doe once again, here to share everything I know with you guys, so together we can go further than Wells Fargo. I'm giving you the latest and the greatest update in the crypto world, because people are wondering and they're panicking. They're like, well, Crypto Doe, should I hold my crypto? Should I sell? Well, remember the first thing. This is a disclaimer. I am not a financial advisor. You do whatever you want to do, right, with your crypto. Only thing I can tell you is what I'm doing, and I'm not selling a thing. In fact, the last time I checked, the Fear and Greed Index was a 22. I said, well, the world's scared as hell. I guess I should buy it. You know, that's how I look at it now. I used to be the person that'd be like, you know what, let me do what everyone else is doing. No, can't do it. If the world is scared as hell, I'm buying what I believe in. This is why I research my projects, right? This is why I stick to what I stick to. And I have conviction for Bitcoin, XRP, utility tokens. I've been researching on the Coinbase, getting deeper into the Coinbase ecosystem with the Clanker and the Bankr coin and different things along that nature, and the VPays and everything else, and the Crow. I've been just, and that I have conviction in those things. So when I'm lost, or when it's a bit scary outside, or scary in the crypto world, when you got the 22 Fear Greed Index and everything is in the red and the orange, for some reason I just buy. I don't even think twice anymore. I used to be like, because now you got to train yourself how to be the opposite of how you really feel, because 9 times out of 10, how you feel isn't really true. And it may be temporary. It may be for the moment. You might feel that way just for a half of a second. But then reality hits and you say, was that fear? Okay. Let's diagnose that fear. Where did that come from? Okay. You figured out that it came from a place that you yourself know wasn't even the correct place for you to actually make a decision. So I do the total opposite. That's what I do, right? That's my advice to me. So you got to figure yourself out and say, hey, when things go bad, how do I react? Am I reacting out of fear, or is this the real me? What happens if those fear tactics wasn't there? How would you react then? Take a second. It's okay to take a minute to decide on things. Just take a second and say, you know what? If none of this fear was floating around, I would actually be buying. So I just treat it like that. I've made plenty of mistakes when I just said, you know what, let's apply fear in this manner. And you should apply it in different sectors of your life and watch how your life change. JD said Bankr coin. Yes, Bankr coin, JD. Bankr coin is part of the base infrastructure and the Coinbase infrastructure, just like Clanker, Bankr coin. It's another one that I normally say. Said that I can't really think about it right now, but yes, VPay, Pay AI Network. I don't really. What's Pay AI Network? I haven't heard of that one, but VPay, yes, I'm very heavy in VPay. Very heavy in VPay because it's built on virtuals and it's on base. It's on base. Oh, another one too that I like with the base is DGen. DGen is another one as well. And it's a lot of projects that's coming out on the base network that actually, and the reason why I like the base network is because you got Brian Armstrong, right? People are going to be flooding so much money into that ecosystem. Oh, I can't forget about one of my favorites. Oh, I could not forget about one of my favorites. Don't forget about Zora. Not Dora. Don't forget about Zora. Zora. That's one of my number ones. First is Zora, then it's VPay, then it's Bankr coin, then it's whatever else. Oh, then it's Clanker. Can't forget about that. Those are my 4 new babies. My 4 discoveries, right? Those are my 4 discoveries. Daydreams, Aura by Virtuals. I haven't heard of the daydream auras by virtuals. But for the base economy, I'm just picking 5. I'm just picking the top 5 because I studied the base economy, and there's so many different ones that I could pick up. All you got to do is go on go on the base.org, go on the website itself, and you will find that it's so many things and protocols that actually make base work. So it's plenty to pick from. But I like the AI payments because if you guys understand what's going on, where you can basically nowadays, you can actually have your AI to go buy things for you, set a price point, put an address in there, everything else, and everything is automated. It's going to be perfect for business supplies and buy and sell orders, and it's going to be perfect for that. So this is why I like VPay. Right? Bank R coin is like the bots trading for you. That's why I like Bank R coins, because I like when bots trade. You know, Clanker, that allows, it's basically the same thing as Zora. It allows you to create your own ecosystem and community and technology by simply, creating your own coin. Zora is a social platform, social media platform, where it allows your post to actually be a coin or a token, so you can build a community, each post, each picture, whatever you want. So this is why I like Zora. I think Zora is one of the key players too. Key players. Zora, Clanker, key players. Key players. VPay, I like. So that's all. I'm letting you guys know. Brian Armstrong said, and I'm gonna put a post right after I finish uploading this video, so you guys can check the receipt out, what he said about Thanksgiving. And I know that we need what's actually missing right now is a liquidity. We need liquidity. We need liquidity. But in order to get liquidity, we're waiting on clarity. What's supposed to be happening happening at the end of December, right? Clarity Act. So once we have clarity, watch how the money flows in. Once we have clarity, watch how the money flows in. That's all we waiting on. It hasn't been any new money inside of crypto for a while now, as far as a large amount. It has not been. So think about how money go. Money is a flow of things. That's why they call it currency. You need some form of current. If we don't have any currency, things are going to be at a standstill. Right now, we're at a standstill. We're waiting on some more liquidity, some more water to enter the stream so we could do our thing. That's the best way how I can explain it. For third graders, that's the best way I can explain it. Look up the word liquidity and look what they have for the Clarity Act and read the document, read the bill, so you understand, damn, once we find out what's a commodity and what isn't, then watch the inflow. On that note, another episode of the Crypto Doso. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. That's all I ask. Help me get to 10,000 subs by the end of the year. I appreciate everyone for tuning on in. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Reba Fluff said, greetings from the North America. Whoa. You guys have a wonderful day.